Mr. President, and distinguished members of this august Georgia Senate, distinguished members, it is my distinct honor and privilege to welcome to this chamber a dynamic leader, a compassionate servant, and a voice of hope for countless individuals across our state and nation, Dr. E. Dewey Smith, Jr. Dr. Smith is a senior pastor and teacher at the House of Hope Atlanta, as well as visionary leader behind the House of Hope Macon, the House of Hope West Point, shepherding a combined congregation of over 10,000 members. His ministry spans well beyond the pulpit, touching lives through service, education, and innovation. A proud graduate of Morehouse College, Dr. Smith holds advanced degrees from Ambridge University and United Theological Seminary. He has been recognized by his peers and honored by Morehouse as a distinguished preacher, joining the ranks of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Board of Preachers. Dr. Smith is the founder of Tabitha's House, a safe haven for young girls rescued from human trafficking, and the Haven House, a licensed counseling center addressing mental and emotional wellness. His visionary media platform, the Hope TV Network, launched in 2020, has reached over 300 million viewers globally, spreading faith, encouragement, and positive messaging during a time when our world needs it most. An accomplished recording artist as well, his album, God Period, topped the Billboard gospel charts and earned him a Stellar Award and multiple Dove nominations. Above all, Dr. Smith is a devoted husband to his wife, Andrea, and a proud father of his two sons, Kamari and Kaylin. Please join me in welcoming to the Georgia Senate floor a man of great faith, vision, and purpose, even my pastor, Dr. E. Dewey Smith, Jr. Thank you, Dr. Pastor. Dr. Smith, thank you. Yes, sir.
Certainly, Mr. President and Senator Mangham and the distinguished members of this body, it's a joy and a privilege to have the opportunity to share with you on today. And I was meditating and thinking about what I could share that could be of impact and reflection for each of you. As we think about government, I believe that God ordained and instituted government. And a specific body, the children of Israel, had a precarious predicament in which God wanted to lead them from a theocratic perspective, but they wanted monarchical rule. And God allowed them to acquiesce, and God acquiesced to their request to move them from theocracy to monarchy. And so King Saul and King David and King Solomon were the premier monarchs of Israel's history. The fourth king was a gentleman whose name was Rehoboam. And it was during Rehoboam's reign that the nation of Israel, which had a prior history of schisms, began to really face insurmountable division where clarity and moral courage was needed. And so during that time, Rehoboam made some decisions that I think are decisions that we should examine within our own lives, and particularly as you make laws for this great state. Rehoboam made some critical decisions that fostered the division and fostered the negativity for Israel and led to some circumstances which were not able to be fixed appropriately. Rehoboam, in 2 Chronicles chapter 10, does three things that affected Israel in a negative way from a governmental perspective. The first thing that Rehoboam did, that I want to challenge you and challenge all of us not to do, is that he failed to follow prudent advice. As he was trying to make a decision about the unity of Israel and how Israel could move with forward dispatch, unfortunately, as he sought direction from those sages, from those who had been around Israel, and they offered him advice and offered him some suggestions based upon the experience, based upon their service with King Solomon, based upon their knowledge of previous administrations. And Rehoboam failed to listen to the sage advice. We have to be careful that each generation that comes about, that although innovation and iteration are important, it's also important that we don't just discard those who've solidified what we do, our systems. Seemingly there is this attempt to want to just discard those who have gone before us. We must understand this great state has been around for a very long time, and to just discard those who've laid foundation would be problematic and dangerous for our state. So he failed to follow prudent advice. But then secondly, he was focused on pride and his arrogance. Instead of listening to the wisdom of the sages and those who had served, those who had experienced, he surrounded himself with his own colleagues who were youthful, who were amateurs and neophytes. And instead of listening to the sages, he listened to those who had their own self-interest. And they told him to not pay attention to the advice of the sages. They told him to be about your own pride, and they made him feel more significant about himself than he should have. He listened to the wrong people, and as a consequence, the controversy in Israel increased the more. The third thing that he did was not only did he not follow prudent advice, and not only was he following and focused on his own pride and arrogance, he wanted to be puffed up. But the third thing that he did is that he foolishly increased the people's adversity. They went to him to talk about some of the issues, some of the challenges of the previous administration, taxes and other ills that had been perpetrated by his father, King Solomon. But instead of listening, instead of trying to come to a happy medium, what Rehoboam did, he said to the people, as he listened to the words of the neophytes, he said, my father may have disciplined you with whips, but I'm going to discipline you with scorpions. And so instead of trying to alleviate and bring people together, he made the people's adversity even more difficult. As a consequence, in 931 BC, the nation of Israel split in twain, and with the 10 northern tribes choosing their new king, whose name was Jeroboam, and Rehoboam being subjected to the 2 southern tribes. The nation of Israel split, a war of such, because of improper leadership by Rehoboam. And so today I want to challenge you to not be Rehoboam. I want to challenge you to not allow political expediency or your party affiliation to make you get away from principle. I want to challenge you today to not allow your constituency and to not allow being liked to make you forget about the things that are principle and the things that you know are right in your heart. Because each of us one day will have to stand before a great judge who will not only judge us for our laws, but judge us for our decisions. And so prayerfully to you on today, that you can stand with moral courage and moral conviction, and regardless of your political affiliation, that you do what you know is right, not in the sight of those who just will elect you to office, but do what's right in sight of what you know is best for the state as a whole, and in best of what would allow you to sleep at night. And so walk in peace, walk in victory. Thank you for your service. May God bless you, and may God bless this great state of Georgia. God bless you.